for that one. Let's just finish this question, and then for the next questions, we will be showing you how to do it using the tab on the phone, how we can upload and do all those things together with the remaining questions that we will be having. That way, we will be also learning how to do it next time we find the same question again, right? So over here, the previous questions, we just completed the transformation, okay, 180 degrees, and I showed you just draw the lines through the center, and then we measure 1 point to the center, and from that 1 point we can reconstruct all the other points. And now we have to do the translation by the following vector. Now for the translation by the following vector, we basically need to look at all the coordinates of the different points that we have. And then from that coordinates, we use this to translate it. Now, the coordinates, don't take the coordinate that is over here, all right? If the question says the point that we use, this is the center. Now, this could be a double-edged sword. Maybe the question is not constructed very well. It doesn't say whether we use the center or the origin, or do we use the new point or the new center that we have just rotated it about. So the translation, it's not clear. So for this question, that's why we marked two different ways. If you use the center, we still marked it correct because I did not say anything about that. And if you use D, which I just mentioned now, as your center, we will still mark it correct. Okay. So this is one thing where the question is not clear as to which center did we translate it from, and that is a mistake on behalf of the examiner. Just hold on a bit. Right. So let's do it both ways so that you can see what we are talking about. So we need to create a new shape. So for this example, we will have two new shapes. All right. So let me just change the pen so that you can see what I'm talking about. So let's see. Just try to make a straight line that we can use. All right. So with this, what I want to do is we will have two centers, right? So we have the center, which is this one, -2 and 0. Sorry about that. Running out of space here. And then we have another center, which is the origin. Just the origin, doesn't matter. And the origin is always having the coordinates 0, 0. Okay, smiley face almost. So these are the two centers that we need to do the translation using the vector that we have here. So first, we basically get the coordinates based on this center and the coordinates based on that center, and then we apply the vector translation. So the first coordinate we are getting is based on D. So why am I basing it on D is, I need to show you quickly here. Let me just bring it here. So what am I talking about when I'm saying that the center is D? By that, I mean that this line that I'm drawing in now, the orange one, is now my new origin, my 0, 0, based on D. Okay, so based on this side would be 1, this side would be -1. So E will have a coordinates of -1 and sorry, 1 and -1. All right. So this point E, based on the orange one, I'll just write here E equals X will be 1, Y will be -1. All right. I'm writing down the coordinates of the points. F will be 1, 2, and the FY coordinate for F will also be -1. And then the G will be 1.5. And the X, sorry, the Y value will be -1, -2, -3, -4. So the Y value will be -4. Okay, so that is basically what I get for the center being D, and for the center being the origin, which is this one over here. And I'm going to use blue to show you the origin. So blue is the original y-axis and the original x-axis. All right. So based on the blue one, we have E, which is equals to E is -1 for x and -1 for y. -1, -1. F equals 0, -1. Okay, so 0 meaning that x is on the 0 line, y is on the -1, and the G is equals to x is -0.5 and the y is -4. So this is what I mean by we have two different centers. Now, if the question is not clear, and I'm just bringing the question back up so that you guys can see. So for this translation with a vector, before we even translate with the vector, we need to find out which center is it that we are using. Okay, so are we using, let me just remove those lines over here. We don't need them anymore. So this is basically how I separated them. So if the center is -2, 0, this is the coordinates of the shape. If the center is the origin, this is the coordinates of the shape. Okay. So what that means now, if we have to do the vector translation, it's just basically going to be a vector addition. So change this to a column vector. So it will be 1 -1 as a column vector, and we will add it to the translated vector. So the translated vector will be -3 and 2. Okay, and we will do that for all the coordinate shapes. So it will be 2 and -1 plus -3 and 2. And the last one will be 1.5 -4. And we will add that with -3 and 2. So as you can see, this is what we are doing over on this side. And on this side, we will do the same. Thing. Just a moment. I just want to shift this over here. We will do the same thing. This will be -1 and -1. This is the vector. We will add it to the one they say we should translate it, -3 and 2. And then the same with this one, 0, -1. We add it to -3 and 2. And then the other one is -0.5 and -4. And we add it to minus 3, and 2. So basically vector translation is we're just going to add that vector by changing the coordinate into a column vector. And then the x will add the x, the y will add the y. We get a new coordinate, and that's what we will do. So I'm going to use the new coordinate systems in green for this one, and probably in brown for the other one. So it's just 1 plus minus 3. For the first one, the new coordinates will be minus 2. Okay, and minus 1 plus 1 will be minus 1. That is the new coordinates, all right, for E. I'm now just going to call it E1 translated on this side. I'm running out of space, so let me just again move this to a better place so that we can see the rest of the answers. So for F1, we will also have new coordinates. So 2 plus minus 3 is minus 1. Minus 1 plus 2 is 1. Sorry, the other one is also 1, not minus 1. Okay. Minus 1 plus 2 is just 1. Okay, so that is the new coordinate for F. And then for G, the new coordinate for G will be minus 1.5 plus, is it minus 1.5 or just, yeah, it's 1.5 plus minus 3 will give me 1.5. And minus 4 plus 2 will give me minus 2. Okay, this is minus 1.5. So it's minus 1.5 and 2. All right, so those are the new coordinates if the center is minus 2, and the other one, if the center is the origin, we do the same thing. In this case, I will just use the brown. So we will have the new coordinates for E. That will be in brown. We will have a new coordinates for F. This will also be in brown. And then we'll have new coordinates for G. And we just fill in minus 1 plus minus 3 is minus 4. Minus 1 plus 2 is 1. 0 plus minus 3 is minus 3. Minus 1 plus 2 is 1. Minus 0.5 plus minus 3 is minus 3.5. Minus 4 plus 2 is minus 2. So those are the coordinates. And now that we have the coordinates, we just plot it on the graph, and then we will have our final answer using that. So one I will plot in green, the other one I will plot in brown, and then we can see what the final answer will be. All right. And just to reduce that one. So I'm just moving a little bit the spaces so that we can see what it is we need to do. So we are using this rotated shape and not the previous one that we have. So first is the green one. Let me just also change the color to green. So that we can see what it is. So minus 2 and 1 from D and not from 0, 0. So from D, if we go minus 2 with X, that will be 1, 2, and 1 up, that will be 1. And then minus 1, that will be the next one. Sorry, and 1 for minus 2 for X and 1 for Y. So that this is not the correct way to do it. Let's just move it a little bit and try that again. So the first coordinate from D, if I go 1, 2, and 1, that is H. And then the next one will be from D again. You go minus 1 and 1. That is the point. And then the last one will be minus 1.5 and minus 2. So I'll go down 2, which will be 1, right? Minus 1.5, 2, and then go down over there. That is the 2, and that is the shape using D as the center. And then for the brown shape, we will use brown. If we use the center as the origin, x will be minus 4. So x will be minus 4. This is minus 4 is over. Oh, I counted in 2s instead of 1. Sorry. That's because the scale is missed slightly the scale. So this shape is also not correct. Let's just quickly correct that shape. So make sure we are using this D12. Okay. And let me just quickly draw the green one again because the scale was wrong. So from D we go 1, 2, and then we go 1 up. That is the point over there. Then we go from D again, we go minus 1 and 1 up. That is the point over there. From D we go 1.5, 1, 1.5, and then we go down 2, 1, 2. That is that point over there. And we join the shape. So this is the shape using the D as the center. And then for the brown one, we do the same thing, but from the center, we go minus 4, which means it's here, and 1 up. That's the same point. Then from the center again, we go minus 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1 up. That is the same position. And from the center, we go minus 3.5, 1, 2, 3.5. And then we go, it's supposed to be minus 2 down. Let's just quickly add that. And then from here, we will go 3.5, 1, 2, 3.5, and 2 down, 1, 2, and we still get the same shape. So whether we do it this way with D as the center, or whether we do it with the origin as the center, we will still get the same answer. Okay. And basically, that is what we wanted to show you for this question. And the shape we are looking for is the new one that we have over here, all right? This shape H. And if we had to ask you what was the relationship between shape H and the first one, then you would say reflection on the center of rotation being, what is this line called? Y equals to 1. And that would be what we would have asked from you, okay? So both of these answers, if you just followed it correctly, produce the same answers exactly, and also the same shape, whether it's the origin or whether it is the center of rotation that we used. So for this question, this last part, when we translated it with the vector, is what we have just done now, and we saw that the answers are the same for both. All right. So we finish that question, and now we go to the next part. And so for the next part, it's basically we have to do the multiplication, and then from the multiplication, we had to add up everything. So let me just quickly reconnect to the phone, and we can start using that. So let's see. Right. Okay, so that is the question that we have there. So I will just rewrite it, and we'll start to use the phone as a recording mechanism. So let me just show you. I will show you on this part, as you can see there. That is the question we have to do. And from this one, you first have to basically write down the dimensions. So this will be a 2 by 3, and this will be a 3 by 2. So looking at that 2 by 3 and 3 by 2, I noticed that this is a 3 and this is a 3 and they are equal. So we can definitely multiply them. That's the first step we need to do. So when we multiply row by column, and then we just rewrite everything in here. So I will just create a bigger matrix to do the multiplications. We know that our matrix will be a 2 by 2 at the end because of this 2 and this 2. That is basically what we want to do. So let me just also write down the multiplications. So the first one will be -1 times 6. So I will write it in here, -1 times 6. The second one will be -1 times 0. So that will be plus -1 times 0. Then we will have 3 times -2. So that will be plus 3 times -2. And that will be first row, first column. All right. So I still need to do first row, second column. So we don't need this part over here. So first row, second column will be -1 times 4. That is this -1 times the 4. Just put this on record so we can see. Okay. Okay, so -1 times the 4, that's the one we have over there. Let me just stop. I think the recording is not making it very clear. Then we have to add that with -1 times the 5. Then we have to add that with 3 times the -5. And that will be the first row, second column. So row 1, second column, that's what we have. We do the same thing for the second one, -5 times the 6, -5 times 6, plus 0 times 0, just 0 times 0, plus 3 times -2, times -2. And then that's finished. Second row, first column, second row, first column. And now second row, second column, second row, second column is over here. I have -5 times 4, -5 times 4. I have 0 times 0 times 5, 0 times 5. And I have 3 times -5, 3 times -5. So that would have been part and parcel of what we need to do. And from here, we just simplify our answers. Just to show you what we do. So to simplify this, I will just quickly do the calculations. You could do it on a calculator, then it will be faster, or you can just do it by hand and do another step. It's also fine. So I'll just do a quick step here so that we can get everything together and just do it nicely. So I'll have -6 plus 0 plus -6. That is the first row, first column. Second row, first column, I'll have -30 plus 0 plus -6. And on the other side over here, I will have -4 plus -5 plus -15. And then I will have -20 plus 0 plus -15. So all these -15s and things, I'll just put my negatives in brackets so that I do not get confused when I'm adding up. everything. And then here for my final 2x2 matrix, I will have -6 plus -6 is -12, -4 plus -5 plus -15, which is -20. So I'll get -24. And then I'll get over here -30 plus -6 is -36. And then I'll get -20 plus -15 is -35. So now we have our answer here, and this was according to our work. This was a question. So let's now just show the process of how do we upload this question onto a PDF format. So for that, we will go to our Adobe Scan. So with Adobe Scan, as you can see, it will now look for the questions or the answers. So I just position it in the nice place. I hope you can see the dots that went up there. And just put a little bit focus. That's looking much better. And I can snap it. Okay, so this snap, let me just bring in all my answers into the paper. And that is basically it. And I press continue and it's stored. So when I click on the picture itself here, it will now tell me, okay, this is how your answer looks like. Are you happy with it? You can check, is it clear? If it's not clear, you can retake. If it is clear, then we can just rename this to the question that we just did. I think this is question 5. So I just say question 5, I rename it, and I click on Save PDF. So question 5 has been done on piece of paper. There is question 5. It's looking fine. And we can always share it, share a copy, whichever one, how you want to do it. And when we share a copy, you can see there was Google Classroom over there and the Drive and all the other ways that we can share it. Or we can save it to a folder, and then from the folder, we can upload it onto the device of Google Classroom. So now I'm just going to share it to the computer because we want to show you how to upload that. So I will just use Bluetooth. I think that will be working fine. Okay. Okay, sorry, Bluetooth did not work. Just set it in via WhatsApp quickly, and then I can get it from the phone. Okay, so I'm just gonna disconnect quickly here because it's asking, I cannot use my mouse on it, right? Okay, so I will now just quickly show you after I send it to the laptop. Then we can see the answers and how the Adobe Scan works. And then I can just show you how we can upload this file here because it says add a file. And then I can just quickly show you that. Excuse me. All right. And this should be just connecting quickly. All right, so the download is completed. Just to show you, here is the one we just did on the piece of paper. So it's in PDF. So the reason I said the last time, if it's in PDF, it's easy for me to put the marks on. So I can at least now mark whatever I need to mark if it's in PDF, and I can just close, and you can see I am the one marking this paper, okay? So that's basically what it is that we have to do, all right? So now just to show you, I will add that file. You just say, select a file from your device. If it's your phone, this option is also available, okay? So from the device, I had put it here in the download, and that is the question 5 that we have. You will just say upload, and then upload is done. Now it says question 5. I hope it was question 5, or it's question 4. So I just named it wrong, but it's the same process that we had to do. So that's how we upload the file, and we will get our marks for that, all right? The same for the next question, which was the simultaneous equation. We have about a few minutes. I'm not going to do this on the paper method. I'll just do it online itself, so that we can work a little bit faster, and then we'll proceed with the next things. So let me just take a screenshot of that, and we can start by doing the full calculation. All right, so first we change this into variables and of coefficients. 15, there is a 1, there is a 1. So the process here, solving by matrix method, will be to change it to coefficients. So I'll have a 5, a 1, and a -3. That will be my first matrix. And then this will be multiplied by the variables we have. So the variables will be X and Y. And that will be equals to the answers we have on the other side, which will be 21 and 9. And once we have that, then we get somewhere our inverse. So I have to get my det, and I have to get my adjoint. So the det will equals to cross multiplication. That will be 5 multiplied by -3 minus 1 times 1. And that will give me -15 minus 1, which gives me -16. And then the adjoint will be the flip and enter the minuses. So it will be -3, -1, 5, and -1. That's the adjoint flip, and then put the minuses. And now for the inverse, inverse will be equals to 1 over -16 multiplied by the adjoint, -3, -1, -1, and 5. And then we will get -3 over 16 -1 over -16. Sorry, those are not negatives anymore. This will all be positive. Negative, negative gives you positive. Negative, negative gives you positive. That's 16. This will also be 1 over 16. This will be 5 over 16. And this is a positive, so this will be negative. And that is the inverse. Once we have the inverse, then we know we can now multiply it out with the inverse. So it will be 3 over 16, 1 over 16, and we have 1 over 16, and we have -5 over 16, multiplied by the original coefficients, 5, 1, 1, -3, multiplied by the variables, X and Y, which will give us the result, which is the inverse, 3/16, 1/16, 1/16, and minus 5/16 times 21 and 9. So once we reach this point, we know that this will give us 1001 times our X and Y. And again, I don't need to do the left side because I know an inverse multiplied by the original matrix will give us the identity, and the identity multiplied by anything is just that thing. And the only part we need to calculate is the right-hand side, which will be the matrix multiplication. So I'll have 21 times 3, which will give me 63. I'm already multiplying out and just going to be doing the simplification this way. So I have 63 plus 9/16, and then I'll have 21